The Conditional Bride Part 12. Writer Arantudi Sarka. Scene, The Gathering. After Broda-Beer, Ian, Pratap, and Peel had been silently watching Sarovi walk away, Brodo suddenly turned around to say something. But the way everyone was staring at him, it made his head burn like fire. Yet perhaps today, the creator himself wanted to test Brodo's patience. He took a deep breath and tried his best to keep calm. Just then, Ran spoke up. "Ran, Bira, let's go out to the lawn, man. It feels great there, open sky above, firelight below, perfect combination." "Brodo, all right then, I'll tell them to get everything ready." He said this while glancing toward the kitchen. A while later, everyone was sitting on the lawn, gathered in a circle on cushions. A small fire had been set up in the middle. Beside Brodo, Kia sat almost clinging to him, and on the other side sat Peel. They were talking about Brodo's marriage. "Ian, so bro, what's the deal? You never told us much about your wedding. You just said Tina ran away, but then nothing after that. How did you even handle that at home?" "Ran, I told you all before that girl wasn't right for him, but back then he wasn't in any condition to listen. Love had made him blind." "Kia, I told you the same, Bira, that girl wasn't good for you, but you didn't listen to me either. Whatever she said, you believed it." She spoke with a trace of hurt in her voice. Then softly, almost shyly, she added, "Bira, I told you then and I'm saying it again, there are so many beautiful girls around you, girls who would truly want to make you theirs. You just need to look closely and you'll understand." After saying that, she tucked a few loose strands of hair behind her ear, blushing. Ian and Ran exchanged a knowing glance and smirked. They understood exactly what she meant. Brodo, however, hadn't spoken a word. Hearing Tina's name had set his mind ablaze with guilt and regret. He was lost in his thoughts of Anushua. Brodo's thoughts. "Where are you, Anu? I've been waiting for you every moment. But look, your Amritraj keeps doing wrong again and again, hurting you, disappointing you. You must think I've moved on, that I'm touching other women's. But didn't I love you with all my heart? Then why do I keep failing to recognize you in others? What kind of test is this, O Queen Mother? When will I finally have you beside me, Anu? You know, that girl's Sarovi, she reminds me of you every single time. Whenever she's near, I lose control of myself. Why does that happen, Anu? I'm afraid that someday I might cross a line I shouldn't. With Tina, I only mistook her for you, there were never any real feelings. But with this girl, when she's around me, I stop being myself. That's why I try to stay away from her. Please, come to me soon, Anu, before I lose myself completely." As Brodo was lost in his thoughts, Sarovi appeared, walking toward them with 2 servants, carrying hakka noodles and chicken tandoori. Even though Brodo had told her not to come again, Sarovi had brought the food herself. Since the chefs were off duty that day, she had personally cooked everything fresh and hot. She didn't trust others to handle it. What if something went wrong at the last moment? That was her nature. She never neglected her duties, no matter how much humiliation she faced. Responsibility came before pride. Peel was watching her closely, his gaze practically devouring her as she walked. Just then Ian spoke, breaking the silence. "Ian, so bro, tell us, after your engagement broke, what happened back the..." He stopped mid-sentence, the moment he saw Sarovi. As his words trailed off, Brodo frowned and followed his gaze, only to find Sarovi standing before him, serving the food. His eyes burned red with suppressed anger. Sarovi, terrified by his fiery look, swallowed hard and stammered. "Sarovi, yes sir, starters for you all. Since the chefs aren't here, I brought them myself." Brodo clenched his jaw, saying nothing, his silence more terrifying than words. Sarovi quietly served everyone, then turned to leave. But Ian called out, "Ian, miss." "Sarovi, she replied quickly. "Ian, oh, right, Sarovi. I was saying, why don't you sit with us for a while? We'd like that." "And sorry, I said you, informally because you're younger than us." Sarovi, "Okay," she said softly, nodding. Before she could sit, Peel added, Peel, yes, Sarovi, please sit. We'd enjoy your company. Brodo snapped, his voice sharp as steel. Brodo, there's no need for that. She has work to do inside, dinner needs to be prepared. Go. Ian, oh come on bro, she just brought all this. Let's eat these first, dinner can be made later. Sarovi stood frozen, looking nervously at Brodo. His glare could have burned through her. Sarovi softly, Aya Baya, I'll sit with you later, okay? I'll go now. Ian, but... Kia, no buts, Ian. Have you lost your mind? You're asking a servant girl to sit with us. You people really don't care about status anymore. She said it with disgust, frowning deeply. At her words, a single tear slipped from Sarovi's right eye. Without saying a word, she turned and walked inside. Ian, that wasn't right, Kia. You've been insulting that girl since she arrived. What has she ever done to you? Dahlia, exactly. Did you see how hurt she looked? That was cruel, Kia. While they were arguing, Brodo stood up silently and walked into the house. In the kitchen, when the servants saw the master himself entering the kitchen, they exchanged startled glances and quickly left. Servant 1, what happened today? The boss is in the kitchen. I've never seen that before. Servant 2, yeah, me neither. No idea what's going on. Murmuring among themselves, they slipped away. Brodo stood behind Sarovi, eyes blazing red with anger. Sarovi stood at the sink, crying quietly. She had never been this humiliated before twice, in front of everyone. And he said nothing, not a word to defend her. Of course he didn't, she thought bitterly. Why would he? He sees me as nothing more than a servant, loudly crying face. As these thoughts swirled in her head, she suddenly felt a presence behind her. Before she could turn around, 2 strong hands grabbed her arms tightly from behind. Pain shot through her, and her face twisted as an involuntary cry escaped her lips. Ugh. To be continued. To read the next part of this story, make sure to subscribe or follow, and don't forget to like.